M. Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com. Our guest today, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, by way of the great state of California. Please welcome Tiffany Woys to Kicks 96 Country. How are you, Tiffany?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Okay, so your first single, Priceless, went top 20 Radio Disney. Mm-hmm. All right, so folks are digging you. All right. You haven't been in Nashville very long, but you've already got your debut EP out, so you're serious.
Very. So I've been in Nashville for almost 2 years now, but I've been back and forth to Nashville for like the last 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. Working there, kind of building my own little team, my own little family, and so within all that time of being back in California and still going back and forth, I was touring up and down the West Coast with the band for about 5 years, doing all like the 3 to 4 hour bar gigs and doing all of that, kind of figuring out who I was as an entertainer and as an artist before actually making the move. Because how it works, like in Nashville, it's like you're a big fish in your small pond, and then you move to a very, very large pond, and you're a really, really tiny fish. And I kind of always wanted to kind of work out the quirks and the kinks of who I was and what I wanted to say and what I wanted to do before kind of going under the microscope of Nashville.
Okay, so has Nashville embraced you? Are you feeling at home? And
I've never felt more at home.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I can confidently say, nothing against California, but I will never be moving back to California.
You take that, California! I can't really. I'm partly from California myself. Partly. Fremont. When I was a very, very, very little kid, I used to live in Fremont.
Okay.
And my niece actually lives in Sacramento, your hometown.
Yeah.
So I have a deep love in my heart for California. My brothers live in Oakland. I have a lot of family there. But trust me, I get it. I'm never moving back to California. I'm never moving back. I like it here in Milton.
I like it to go visit home, but other than that,
I'll go visit. Don't tell my brothers. I'll go visit. Okay, so great success with the first single. Your current single, Hostage, is doing quite well. It sounds great. But CMT picked up the video for yet another song, Spark.
Yeah.
All right, so you've just got these bits of success all over the place. You are really, really making a lot of noise in Nashville right now.
It's been really amazing to see, and it's really rare for me to take a seat back and kind of like take a look back on the last 2 years and really take the time to see how much I've been able to do in that amount of time. Because I think we're always just on the move of go or what to do next. And it's been really awesome to actually sit back and think like, wow, like I have been able to accomplish quite a bit of things that are kind of, I've had quite a few like pinch me moments. And one of them has been working with CMT because it was really important to me when I came to town to gain the respect of CMT. Because being a girl from California, moving to Nashville, Tennessee to do country music, it's very often that I get the question, like, why not pop, you know?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
And I respect that because I have a lot of pop influence in my music, but country music is just where I found a home. And it was really, really awesome to, one, work with a company like CMT and then work with a company like Disney, because Disney has been on my bucket list for my entire life to work with, because the company and what they represent and everything that they embody is what I kind of want to bring into my career. Okay.
Well, now, I know you list as a couple of your influences, just on the subject of music and pop versus country. You list both LeAnn Rimes and Faith Hill as women that you grew up with and that you looked up to and whose music inspired you. And it's like, and those are two undeniable country divas.
Yeah, so my first taste of music and really figuring out what I wanted to do, it was Celine Dion. And from there, because my parents did not listen to country music. Like, they were big kind of like alternative rock pop people.
I like her parents. I'm just saying.
So I kind of had to dive into that on my own. Well, the only country artist my mom really ever listened to that I can remember was Jody Messina. And I fell in love with her too. And so it was kind of on my own where I started to dive into people like Faith Hill. I remember my sister listening to Faith Hill. I think it was the song like The Way You Love Me, or is it like that classic in the music video? Oh, great. But from there, I started kind of figuring out, okay, Martina, well, it was LeAnn, the first country artist that I really listened to. And I fell in love with not just, obviously, country artists at the time, but because I wasn't sure exactly what it was that I loved about music. And then I really realized it was a vocalist and an entertainer and a stylist. Because all these people that I've realized that I named that are my inspirations are very iconically known for being stylists with their vocals.
Very much so.
So that was something that I just gravitated towards more than anything a part of music.
Okay. So let's talk about your music then. Like, your original music. Are you a songwriter? I mean, these are songs you've written, or are these songs that Nashville have said these match you?
So over the last 5 or 6 years, I was like working in this business, not making my angle to be a songwriter, because that's not how I got started. That wasn't my dream. That wasn't my intention. It's something that I've dove into now, but it's something that, for me, Nashville's built on the song. It's built on a community of hundreds, thousands of songwriters that are incredible at what they do.
Yes, they are.
And for me, I could put my name on something and it can be just mediocre. For me, the best song wins, and it's my job to put out the best of the best to my listeners, and that's something that I'm really passionate about. And right now, we're kind of in this really awesome singer-songwriter genre, which I love, and it's amazing. But what's happening is a lot of the songwriters, which I've noticed and I've been able to get to know, they're not artists. They don't want to be artists. They want to be songwriters, and their songs aren't getting cut anymore. So I would love to be a vehicle for that, to kind of blow the cobwebs off of the songs that I think still need to be heard.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, the greats back in the day. I mean, like Reba, Martina, Faith, a lot of them were pitch songs, and then they made them their own, and they kind of did this build up with the songwriting community where they were the vehicle for those songs.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And I'm really, really passionate about that. So that's kind of like the avenue that I'm on right now.
Okay, well, so let's talk about the single. Let's talk about Hostage. That's currently charting right now on country radio. That's the one you're going to hear. You'll also see the video for Spark on CMT. But Hostage is the single that we're talking about. So that song, my impression of that song, it's that love that just won't die, that just won't quit. Or that relationship, I should say, that just won't go away.
So I attached onto this song for not a different reason, but I have my own story to go with it. And like we all should, what I want a listener to do too, hear that song and put themselves in a place where either they're in right now or they've been there before. And this song to me was kind of like that, don't hold yourself hostage in a relationship with your emotions. Okay. And I think we've all been in a relationship before where we've probably stayed a little too long. And whatever reason that was, we were comfortable, or for me, it was a substance abuse relationship, not on my end, but on his, and I felt responsible for that person. And so that relationship kind of held me hostage because I didn't want to walk away because I felt like it was my job to make sure that they were okay. When that's just simply not the case. And so this song just kind of took a hold of me and brought me back to that relationship. And every time I've played this song for somebody else, they kind of have their own hostage situation. I've been like, oh, I totally know that I've been there. And so that's why I felt like this was such a good song to put out, because I kind of feel like it's such an incredible message, just kind of like my first single, Priceless, and kind of about knowing your worth and knowing when something's not good for you anymore. And when you realize that something isn't good for you and healthy for you, it's probably better to just walk away.
Absolutely. So the song comes from a very honest place. You actually were working with some Grammy Award-winning producers and songwriters. Talk to us a little bit about your team.
So when I first got to Nashville, I was working with a producer by the name of Chad Carlson.
Yeah.
And I love him. He is such a dear friend. He did produce some tracks that are not on the EP, and I ended up working with a producer down the line that actually wrote one of the songs on my EP. But Chad is just like, he was kind of the first person I think in music in Nashville to kind of take me under his wing, and we are still good friends, and I love him dearly. But I've been able to be pitched some songs that, my rule of thumb first and foremost is to not look at who's written a song before deciding if I like it, because I think that it can manipulate your head a little bit.
It can.
It can. And for me, just because it's a good writer or it's a good song doesn't mean it's a good song for me. Yeah. Because, for instance, Miranda Lambert is incredible. I would never sing one of her songs or something that was pitched to her because it's not me as an artist, so it doesn't work that way. So I've been able to be blessed to hear some songs that I'm shocked I was able to hear some of these songs and be able to cut some of these songs. For instance, I have a song on my EP that's written by Shane McAnally, Trevor Rosen.
Oh, yay! Okay.
And Sarah Hayes. And that, I was like, how in the world is that possible? Because I actually would enjoy cutting songs from writers that don't necessarily have a lot of cuts, because I think since I'm new, I would love to be able to build something with people who are maybe getting a chance.
I totally understand that.
Because for me as an independent, I always say, it takes a village to do what I do. And, being an independent that term is used so, it should be used so loosely, because I really do believe, I mean, for instance, I'm like sitting in this room with like, and there's 3 other people back here, because I didn't come in here alone, because I that's just not how it works. And so when I heard this song that was pitched to me that Shane McAnally was a co-writer on, I didn't look at who wrote it first, and I listened to it. I knew it was undoubtedly a great song. I was like, that's a winner. I want to cut that. Found out it was on hold for Brett Young. I was like, well, now I mean, all right, that was fun. He's going to do great. Can't wait to hear it on the radio. And at the time, I was in a really happy relationship with a guy of 4 years at the time. And it's a breakup ballad. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it wasn't meant for me anyway, because I'm really happy. I'm in love. There's really no point for me to be the one to be the vehicle for this song, because I don't feel that. And I haven't experienced such a heartbreak that song is actually embodying. So, flash forward a year later, I moved to Nashville. I'm still kind of holding on to this song, but not really. I mean, it was still on hold, I think, for Brett at the time. I think he had it on hold for close to 9 months from what I can recall. And the boyfriend at the time, now almost 5 years, calls me up after I've been there for 3 months and says, like, I don't love you anymore. I'm never going to move to Nashville. Hasta la vista. See you later. Bye. And I'm like, oh, wow. Over the phone. That's cool. And so
I felt that one. That's in the past, and I just felt that. Anyway, please continue. Oh.
And so at that point, you're not even thinking about music or the song or anything. But this is just how I know that, like, God works in such incredible ways. Because not even a week later after that breakup, I got a call from kind of my A&R. And she was like, hey, listen, like, it's off hold. You're next in line to cut it, but you have to be at the studio in a week. Can you do that? And I said, yeah, because I know now. I'm living that song now. Now I can't put on paper myself better than what Shane, Trevor, and Sarah did. And what was even more ironic about that song is that I found out that it was written a month before me meeting that guy. So it's been sitting on a shelf for 5 years.
Yes.
No one was doing anything with it. It was collecting those cobwebs that I've talked about. So even though they're very well-known writers, that song, I feel, needs to be heard and be out in the world. And there was quite a good chance that it never would have been. And it was like it was sitting there, waiting there to tell my story.
Oh, that's an amazing story. Tiffany Woys is our guest, and her single is Hostage. She's clearly knows what she's doing. She comes to her music in a very honest and very real, personal way. So you're going to love everything you hear. If folks are looking for you on the internet, where do they find you?
Everything is under my full name, Tiffany Woys, Woys. That is Instagram, my website, Facebook, Twitter, all of it. Even the music, everything's Tiffany Woys.
Absolutely. If you want to hear Hostage, make sure you call us at Kicks 96 and twist our arm. We'll be happy to play it for you. And Tiffany is going to do a live performance elsewhere here on our YouTube channel, so make sure you look for that video. Tiffany, thanks so much for visiting with us at
Thank
Kicks
you
96.
so much for having me.
All right. We'll see you again next time on another artist video blog at Kicks96country.com.